I'll start when I feel ready. That sentence sounds harmless. It sounds intelligent. It sounds patient. But psychologically, it's one of the most effective self-sabotage mechanisms ever created, because it doesn't feel like quitting. It doesn't feel like avoidance. It feels like responsibility. And that's why people repeat it for years, without realizing it's quietly deciding their life for them. Let's remove the illusion. Ready is not a real state. It's not something the brain reaches naturally. In psychology, this is called affective forecasting, the belief that a future emotional state will arrive and authorize action. Daniel Kahneman explains in Thinking, Fast and Slow, that humans systematically overestimate how stable their future emotions will be. You think one day you'll wake up, confident, energized, certain, calm, and then you'll begin. But emotions don't work that way. Readiness is not an input, it's an output, and your brain knows that, which is why it keeps postponing. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The phrase "I'll start when I feel ready" exists for one reason: to avoid exposure. Starting means being seen before you're good, acting without guarantees, confronting the gap between who you are and who you imagine yourself to be. That gap creates anxiety. So the brain invents a delay condition that sounds reasonable. Not "I'm scared," not "I'm avoiding this," but "I'm just not ready yet." In The Denial of Death, Ernest Becker explains that humans build psychological buffers to protect the ego from threat. Waiting is one of those buffers. It allows you to keep your self-image intact without testing it. Notice something important. You don't wait to feel ready for things that remove options. You don't wait to feel ready to respond to pressure, meet deadlines, react to consequences. You only wait when action is optional and identity is on the line. Because readiness is not about capability. It's about risk to self-image. In Mindset, Carol Dweck explains that people avoid action when failure threatens identity, not outcome. If you never start, your imagined potential stays perfect. Once you start, it becomes measurable. And measurement is dangerous. So the brain delays. Forever. Here's what people don't talk about. Waiting doesn't feel neutral. Every time you say "I'll start when I feel ready," you are training your nervous system to associate relief with avoidance. Relief becomes the reward. This is classical conditioning. B.F. Skinner showed that behaviors followed by relief get reinforced even if they're destructive. So delay becomes automatic, not conscious, not dramatic, just habitual. Over time, the brain stops even checking for readiness. The sentence becomes a reflex, and reflexes don't ask permission. There's a quieter cost. It's not failure, it's not regret, it's self-trust erosion. In The Courage to be Disliked, Ichiro Kishimi explains that people suffer not from what they do, but from what they repeatedly avoid. Every delayed start sends a message. I don't act on what I know. That message accumulates. You don't suddenly lose confidence. You just stop believing yourself. Plans feel lighter. Promises feel theoretical. Intentions feel symbolic. Not because you're incapable, because your identity adapted to delay. The most dangerous part of "I'll start when I feel ready" is that nothing breaks. No crisis, no collapse, no obvious failure. Life continues, which makes the pattern invisible. In 4,000 Weeks, Oliver Burkeman explains that modern procrastination isn't dramatic, it's polite. Time doesn't punish you immediately. It just quietly removes options. One day you don't feel late, you just feel limited. And by then, no explanation is needed. Here's the dark truth people don't like to hear. Most people never feel ready. They just eventually run out of time to wait. Readiness doesn't arrive as a feeling. It disappears as a requirement. Not because courage suddenly shows up, but because delay becomes heavier than fear. And that moment rarely feels heroic. It feels quiet. Late, obvious. "I'll start when I feel ready" is not a plan. It's a permission slip to stay untested. And the longer you use it, the less your life requires your consent.